welcome. Happy Thursday. In fact, I think I wrote an email that said happy Thursday to everybody, which is, happy Thursday. So we're going to let everyone get in, and the goal is to actually be done in 20 minutes. We've yet to been able to do that, and it's funny because people always say, Anthony, especially my wife, right? And a couple of our investors, Anthony, why can't you just speak in 20 minutes? Why can't you just get it out there? And I always say, there's so many components. It's really unfair to go ahead and share one thing and miss a whole bunch of other things. Because I speak to everyone like I would like to be spoken to. And if I go ahead and just share, okay, and then this, with the expectation that you won't be able to think far enough to say, well, if it's just this, how come, like how does that, what about this, right? I want to be able to provide you all of the information with the assumption and presumption that you are educated enough that you deserve the information, right? And that sounds even a little silly because I think everyone deserves the information, but marketing today is, can I go ahead and create a shiny object for you? And those that are not educated enough to understand that, like, a picture of a guy with a bunch of girls in bikinis and money flying around isn't the solution for you, that they buy it. In fact, I talk to many people all the time that go, Anthony, you're doing way too much. Just go ahead and get a model and have her put out a bunch of ads to her influencers and everyone will buy it. And I said, I could not be more absolutely on the other side of that. What does that do to retention levels, right? Like, we're dealing with real money in a real situation. There is a certain level of understanding and comfort one must have to go down the whole path with us. And the individual says, well, it doesn't really matter. Like, let's just get it and be gone. And I'm like, I can't even talk to you. Like, you're just diametrically opposite than what we're doing. So welcome everyone. I see everyone in the house. I see Esteban in the house, which I looked quite silly to 2 or 3 different times, because everyone knows that I have not been absolutely the best in terms of why can't I do this? Keep an accurate score in terms of coin amounts. And I've always leaned on everyone to be able to say, oh, Ant, I found something, and I've always corrected. In fact, I'm not sure I've ever had a correction over 1,000. With the Esteban, I had a correction 100% wrong. Like, I had to double what he had just to be accurate. So Esteban, thank you so much for allowing me to be a little off every now. Okay, so let's just get into it, because if I spend 20 minutes talking and pleasantries, then I, by definition, went over, right? Yeah. Okay, thank you, Brian. All right. So how do I say this? When somebody asks me, Anthony, why can't you be 20 minutes? Can you just share what's on your mind? And I say, well, that's not a 20-minute thing. I then took on the challenge of, you know what, let me just write down everything that's on my mind. Let me put it in a clear graph, like a chart, like an Excel sheet. And let me see if I can walk everyone through it. So you're going to laugh, because this Excel sheet, when you question me and say, Anthony, this is the clear everything on your mind. First of all, this Excel sheet cannot calculate everything on my mind, but I made notes of the things that it couldn't calculate. But secondly, I think it paints a really good picture of where we're going over the next 90 days. So without further ado, let's see what I can do. That rhymes. I love it. All right. So let's move some stuff around so I'm not burdened by Zoom on the screen. And let's go into it. So you guys asked for it. Here it is. Now, can everyone see that clearly? Now, I do imagine you might have to watch the replay and larger screen or whatever the case may be, but I do want to make sure that I'm Hey, Misha's in the house. I do want to make sure that you can see it, right? Yes, clear. Thank you, Michael. Whew, where to start? Okay, so this doc is titled Rhino Retirement Projections. It's an internal doc, and it's not something I thought to share, but I don't need to be convinced to share anything. You guys know that by now. So here's the columns. This is actually not weeks. This is days. Okay. This is founding investor and founding member reward coin. So for those that are just joining us today, while building this platform, we were funded by investors that purchased coin at a very low level. And by investors, I mean any member of the platform that took money out of their pocket to purchase coin as an investment. And all the members of this platform have always received at least 100 coin a month. For those members that are under 10,000, I've taken it upon myself to the displeasure of some, right? That's the way to say it, to round everyone up to 10,000. And the reason being, I can give 1,000 good marketing reasons, but the number one reason, you've been with me since day one and that matters to me. Like that's actually the reason. So when you add up all of that together, you get 272,785,460 coin that is purposed to individuals right now. Rhino Retirement so far has 17,241 coin that's going to be given out by day one of the launch. Now, this coin is liquid. This coin can be sold all day one if the individual was so foolish. I mean, if they were so set on doing it, right? This is how many Rhino Retirement accounts we have right now, 157 individual Rhino Retirement accounts. The average weekly investment amount is $54.91. The next 7 days scheduled Rhino Bucks demand is $8,620.87. That's how much is already scheduled to be purchased. What is that divided by 7? $1,231.55 is scheduled to be purchased every single day for the next 7 days if no one else ever buys Rhino again, right? This is already done. The next 7 days scheduled buys 17,241. You might say, Ant, I already knew that number. Actually, hold on a sec. Oh, I see. The reason why this number is twice this number is because it's at 50 cents, right? So $8,620 right now will buy you 17,241 coin. Everyone that's on this is part of Rhino. This is a launch promotion. Now, there's two ends of it, right? Anytime anyone says a promotion, it's like, are you really promoting it? Like, did I get the special super duper offer, or is it benefiting you as well? Like, for instance, when I drive down the road and I see a one-time sale, this time sale, I'm like, no, it's not. You're just trying to get people to go in that day. To go ahead and properly build out Rhino for its launch, we needed to go ahead and amass a certain amount of Rhino accounts that were already going to get us out the gate. The goal was $10,000 in weekly recurring so that we knew no matter what, the next 7, how do I have someone calling me? Why? I think people only do this when I'm live. Okay. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. I swear, it only happens when I'm live because everyone else knows I'm calling. So it was very important for us to hit a goal of $10,000 recurring weekly investments so that we knew the coin had a backing and can move forward. For that, we said to our rhinos, if you help us do this, which helps us all, then we are going to go ahead and double up your investment, 2 for 1. You could buy it 50 cents and it'll be liquid day one. Actually, so you know what I need to do? Before we continue this, hold on one second. Okay. Actually, let's just go to the join so that everyone could join, right? You know what? let's be fair. If you want to watch the video, go for it. All right. I want to make sure that I have this in the chat because those that are not in, you really need to. Or if you want to, right? Okay. Where am I? So that is why this is 17,241, which by the way, I'm gonna really just spend time detailing the first and second row, because everything after that is calculated. So we could understand what this is. So I don't want anyone to think, oh, he's going so slow. We're gonna go through, no, we're gonna go through the first and second row so everyone knows the calculations, and then we'll have fun with this. All right. All right. So of that $17,241 or coin that's going to be purchased, how much is going to be purchased tomorrow? 2,463. We did that by dividing this by 7. That's 7 days in a week. Next 7 days projected of Rhino Buck sell amount, non-existent. There is no one that can sell coin anytime before Wednesday. And mind you, I just finished this today. So yesterday was Wednesday, you get the drift. So still not available for how much is going to be sold tomorrow. Not only the dollar amounts, but the aggregate amount of coin as well, right? Now, this is what our investors and our founding members are most interested in. Excess demand to unlock investor and founder Rhino Bucks. Now, the great luxury that I have, that Rhino has, but that was given to me as steward of Rhino, is that all of the investor coin, which normally in any circumstance is given to the investor and made liquid upon day one, or told you have 90 days, was allowed to me and given me permission. Anthony, we understand, hold the coin until need be. We would like it back as soon as possible, but we understand the market you're creating, which means the investor and founding member coin is never going to flood the market. No one ever needs to be worried that, oh my God, there's 100 million coin that could sell at any point. That's not the case. In fact, that's all being held. As a result of it being held, the excess demand to unlock investor and founder Rhino Bucks is not available. In fact, that money goes directly into Rhino Bucks cash balance, because in the Rhino retirement account, there is existing Rhino Bucks coin and there is cash. In the method of USDC coin, USD, right? So it's as good as cash. Now, well, actually, we'll go down in a second. So Rhino Bucks coin balance, everyone knows there's 1 billion that starts, and then how much is left, right? So as you can see, this balance is less than 1 billion, 727,180,057. Now, how did that number come to be? 1 billion minus the coin held by founders and investors, minus the coin that's already out there for Rhino Bucks members, for Rhino Retirement members, which is the 17,241 plus the 17,241. Now, this first row is for the 7 days before launch. So nothing's live yet. I don't have the ability to make up statistics, nor would I ever. So this first row is the whole aggregate of today, tomorrow, till Wednesday. And as you can see, there's no price. Well, actually, we could do this, right? There you go. No. Actually, it'd be this, right? Okay. Now, oh, yeah. There you go. So as of right now, it's 50 cents to anyone that gets it. And how do you get in, you ask? Well, here we are, right? That's how you get it. Okay. So as we go down to the second row, this is, again, all these are days, not weeks, not months, not years. Day one. We're back at school. Super cool, right? Okay. So day one, we start off with our amount of coin. The amount of coin to investors and founding members was going to stay that way until day 30. And you see day 30, non-applicable cash balance, but what happens the next day? Money starts going back to the investors and the founding members. So I've always said that most likely by the middle of November, Investors and members will start getting coin, start unlocking their coin. I have good news, it's going to be the middle of October. Okay. So what does that mean for Rhino Retirement Rhino Bucks? How much is owned by them, right? The Rhino Retirement Program, 34,042. Where'd that number come from? Well, it's how much has already been purchased or invested in, and how much is planned to be invested in the rest of this week if no one else buys it, right? If no one else invests, this is what it's going to be. Odds are there's going to be a lot more investment because there's a lot more every single day. 157 people didn't happen all in one day. It didn't happen yesterday. So this number will be adjusted and it'll be adjusted, right? Now, what are the assumptions we're making for Rhino Retirement? So what you can see here, and if you look at the bottom of the screen, it says times 1.02. For the first 7 days, we're assuming that the growth in Rhino Retirement accounts is going to be 2%. The following 7 days, we're assuming that it's going to be 3%. The following 7 days, we're assuming it's going to be 4%. The following 7 days, we're assuming it's going to be 5%. Now, at this point, Rhino has proved itself. That would have been 28 straight days of going up 1 cent a day. Everyone that wanted to sell could sell. Everyone that wanted to buy could buy. And it's starting to get out. People are knowing about it, which means we have to act in accordance. So what did we do? The next 7 days, it's now 8% growth day over day. And again, you're coming off a very small base. This is 400, right? The next 7 days, we move up to 14% day over day. The next 7 days, we moved up to 25%, and then we top out at 30%. In fact, we do not go higher than 30%, and regardless of, oh my God, 1,000 accounts today, 2,000 accounts today, that's going to be recorded here. Like this sheet right here is going to become a website, in which case you have full access to. These numbers are all projections, but as the numbers come in, we will report them in truth on this sheet. In fact, we might even have it professionally audited so that you know it is correct. Because if you know this sheet every single day, then you know every decision you need to make in terms of Rhino Bucks buy or sell, right? And we want to make sure everyone has that. So when you take a look at the Rhino Retirement accounts, there's no, all right, and we expect 100% growth tomorrow. It's 2%, 3%, 4%, 5%, 8, 14, 25, 30, not higher than 30. And when you see the rest of the numbers, I think you'll agree that's reasonable. So I just want to make sure that we defined properly how that number is. Oh, hey, Joan, Juan. I want to make sure that we define properly how that number is calculated. Okay, Rhino Retirement average weekly investment per account. Now, as of now, it's $54.91, which is really quite the credit because Rhino only offers 4 plans, 1, 10, 25, and 100. So if the average is 54, the average is twice the amount than the 3 smallest packages, right? So as you get, it'll give you a sense of those that know us best, what they're doing, right? Now, what's the next week? Oh, it dropped to $41. Well, why did that happen? Because the belief is by Rhino that half the people that got into Rhino Retirement will look to sell half the amount of their coin. That means half the number of people in Rhino Retirement are going to go ahead and take the precaution to get their money back and let the rest run free. Now, we don't disagree with that. We don't endorse it, but we understand it, right? Like we're humans too, which means our sheet needs to go ahead and share our understanding of that. Therefore, this number is 75%, right? Half of half is 25. Therefore, 75% of this top number. Now, how does this number increase going forward? Every single day, we simply project the number will go up by 0.5%. Yeah. We're projecting the number to go up 0.5%. Now, if the coin is going up 1% every day, then do we think it's unreasonable that the amount people are willing to invest is half of the actual profit they can make, we think that's fairly reasonable. If you can go ahead and make 1%, you would invest more than 1% if that was, I don't want to say guaranteed, but if that was a sure thing for you. So to go ahead and invest 0.5% more, that makes sense to us. So that's how that number is calculated. And as you can see, it's quite modest, 41, 41, 41, 42, 42, and all the way through. And we top it out at 60. We do not allow it to get over 60. And again, it's just conservative projections. We want to make sure that we're on the conservative side. Not 1%, but yeah. No, Michael's right. So it's not 1% a day, it's 1 cent per day, which 1%, 0.98%, right? So Michael is right though. But the point does stand that the percent the coin will go up until it hits $2 will always be more than the 0.5% we're factoring into our calculations. So at $2, if it goes up 1 cent, that's 0.5%. So as long as our 0.5% project or 0.5% assumption is always lower than what the coin's actually going up, we feel comfortable that that makes sense. Thank you, Mike. Next 7 days scheduled Rhino Bucks demand amount. So how did we get that number? Well, the amount of Rhino retirement accounts times the amount of the weekly investment amount, right? So those numbers multiplied equal what we believe calculates the next 7 days. All right, so we have all these accounts, and each of these accounts pick this dollar plan. When you multiply them together, you get what you're projected for or what you're scheduled for the next 7 days. Now, as you can see, this amount is lower than the first amount because the projected amount per person is lower for the reasons we just described. The next day scheduled Rhino Bucks demand amount. So what we wanted to do was, because this is a daily chart, yes, we want to let you know the next 7 days, but how cool would it be that your investment is where you already know, what's going to be bought the next day. I can't imagine an investment in the world that I would rather have than, all right, I own $100 of whatever, like Apple stock. Can someone tell me how much Apple stock is going to be bought tomorrow? People would look at you like you're a cuckoo bird. Like, really? What in the world? You can't predict the future. I can't predict the future. Rhino attempts to predict the future by creating the future. So that's going to be the amount that we're looking, that's already scheduled for the next day. So what does that equal? How much coin is going to be purchased over the next 7 days? As you can see, the dollar amount of the coin goes up. Therefore, the dollar amount invested doesn't equal the same amount of coin every single day. So the way this number is calculated is it takes the next 7 days of coin, averages it, and then takes the dollar amount over the next 7 days and divides it by the average price of coin going forward. And you'll be able, over the next 7 days, and you'll be able to get the amount of coin that will be purchased over the next 7 days. And take that number, divide it by 7, because there's 7 days in a week, and you can see how much coin is going to be purchased the next day. And the same thing with sell amount. Now, actually, we need to touch on this. The way we are projecting, oh yeah, Juan, that's a good idea. The way we're projecting how much is going to be sold is we're just going to take 5%, right? On any day, 5% we believe is the coin that's going to be sold. Now, mind you, later on when this really picks up, we don't believe people are going to be selling 5%, but we're not going to make that rosy assumption today. We want to be conservative. So, and especially right here, you see, people are buying this at this moment, investing into this. Do we think they're going to sell 5% of their holdings the next day when the coin went up 1 cent before it goes up a whole bunch more? We don't think that's the case, but we can't go ahead. We don't know what we don't know. So we're not going to share the rosy picture. We're going to share the conservative picture so that anyone making a decision can say, all right, I understand these numbers. I think they're probably understated, which means I feel comfortable. So you can do that math all the way through, right? The average, the projected sell amount over the next 7 days equals the projected selling amount the next day equals this much coin over the next 7 days by averaging the price the next 7 days, divided by 7 equals this much coin the next day, right? Rhino cash balance. Rhino will hold a cash balance. I think it's only proper that we do. So the money that's coming in to purchase, oh, Bill, you wait till you see what's about to happen. So the money that's coming in to purchase, so $942 on day one, minus the 5% we're projecting, which again, we're going to put the real numbers in here. This is just projections, and you will have access to this in real time. So the $942 coming in, and then the $256 being sold equals a, well, it equals close to $700, but that's how this number is calculated. It is what was the cash balance the day before, and then to that you add what is being sold the next, bought the next day minus what's being sold the next day, which gives you this balance. Now, what does that mean to the Rhino coin balance? Well, as you can see, the coin balance went down by the amount of coin purchased that day. And what was the price that day? 1, right? Okay. So I feel like we shared how the calculations work. So let's get to the fun part, right? So we'll go slowly down this. We'll see if there's any, points that I should bring up, like for instance, this. So now all of a sudden, and let's make this, can we make it a little bigger? Okay. So now all of a sudden, after 30 weeks, investors start collecting and, well, not collecting, investors and members, right? Not just people that bought coin, but anyone that we rewarded coin to, which I shared in the beginning, starts getting access to their coin. How does that work? As you can see here, the excess demand to unlock investor and founder coin is right here. 30 days, yes. I hope I said that, but Brian, if I didn't, 30 days. So on day 31, what was the amount that was supposed to be, that was already scheduled to be purchased that day? Okay, what's 5% of the coin in existence and that's scheduled to be sold? Okay, which means when you take this number and minus this number, where am I? So that actually doesn't. Hold on a sec. Okay. So G33 divided by G. Oh, okay, hold on a sec. I need to redo that. Okay. Stop it. So this right here equal, oh, stop. All right, so we got to delete this. So this right here equals G33, so the amount purchased that day, minus what is being sold that day. Next day projected, okay. Equals 2796, which should actually change everything. So what you'll find is that this number changed as well. Well, Anthony, how can this number, how can you come with this number and change this number as well? How could the total amount, the margin between what is being bought and being sold go to the investors, but yet also goes to cash balance? How does that work? In the investor coin, 100 million of it is equity holders in Rhino. I own about 47-48% of Rhino, but what I've done is I've estimated it down to 40%. Again, just trying to be conservative, which means 40% of this number is really going over here. So yes, because I'm buying my own coin back as well, because I'm a 40% owner. But where's my money going to go? The coin that's being purchased for me? Well, I'm Rhino for life. That money's going to go into the cash balance because I'm never going to sell my coin. So my coin will only go up in value or really go up in value if the coin actually has a cash balance. Oh, what's that coin backed by? What's it worth? Well, they have like 27 whatever million in the bank, so they're worth something. So the cash balance will always go up because I am, I guess, dedicating or donating. I don't know what you want to call it, but my coin gets sold and goes right back to here. Okay. So what does that equal? So what you'll notice for the founding investor and Rhino member coin is it went down for the first time, which means everyone that is now having coin released as a Rhino investor or a member has the opportunity to sell it all. You see, these numbers calculate what's being bought minus what's being sold. Is that what oh, that's what I was doing. Hold on a second. We gotta go back. I actually had it right because what I missed in that was I have to uphold the price of 130. See? So what is the amount of coin that's being bought divided by the amount of coin that's being sold has to equal at least 130 to go ahead and support the price of 130. Well, how do you do that, right? So it's a whole bunch of calculations, as you can on here, but we found that there is a number, obviously, that if you divide 3,534 by said number, you will equal 130. And when you take said number and subtract it by the amount that's being sold, you get a different number. That is your amount. So that's all right here. I don't want to confuse everyone with the numbers. We don't need to actually go through calculations, but here it is, right? So all that needs to be known for this is that we're able to identify the schedule amount that's going to be bought. We have the projected amount that's going to be sold. We know what the coin needs to be worth because again, when we go ahead and buy it back from the investors to allow them to release their coin, we're buying it back at this price. So you have to go ahead and be able to pivot and be dynamic. So that gets added to our cash balance. Well, our cash balance, and this is the amount going to investor. Okay, I know that took me like a long time to describe, and my apologies. So as you can see, because again, there's just a lot, as you can see. So as you go forward, all hunky-dory, the price continues to go up. You have the continued amount of Rhino retirement accounts going up. You have the weekly average amounts going up very slowly. You see the coin that's going back to the investors or releasing for the investors, which by the way, this calculates that every coin that's released to investors that they sell automatically. 100%. I don't think that's going to be the case. I don't think that anyone that's been with us since day one is going to sell out their entire stake on day 20 of launch, day 30 of launch. But again, to offer you the most conservative estimations and projections, we are assuming that every coin that gets released to investors and members, they will sell that day. So, okay, so you're going, hunky-dory, blah, blah, blah. And now all of a sudden things are picking up, right? So we see 272 million, blah, blah, blah. Now all of a sudden it breaks 271, 270, 269, 268, 267. What's going on here? Well, it's the law of big numbers. So Rhino retirement accounts, yeah, if they're going up, take a look. They're going up by 14%. 14%. Now, 14% of 1 is 14, but what's 14% of 1,545? Well, it's 216, right? And then now 25% of 1,761 comes out to 241. Well, now what's 25% of 2,201, right? So now the numbers are getting larger. Now they're getting larger. And once you get to 30%, now 30% of almost 11,000, now 30% of almost 14,000, now 30% of almost 18,000 times the coin, the average amount that is a weekly investment amount. Now you see the coin really start coming down. So 722 million coins, 722, 721, 717, 681. Investors going to pay back 265. Now they only have 247 million. Then day 76 comes around. Why is day 76 such a big day? Okay. Well, we've now reached critical mass. And this is the last week of investor coin, as it does not exist anymore on week 77. In fact, the investors all have everything they've ever put in. What happens to the Rhino Bucks coin balance? We crossed $1 billion. There's no more coin available, which is why this is all red. That's day 77. These are all days, Esteban, day 77. Well, $100. So that's where I'm going to share the next couple of things with everyone. So you see the price of the coin, how it goes up 1 cent every day? That's because we had the ability to manage and control it. You see, when you're holding the billion coin, anything over the 1 cent per day, we're going to sell at and bring it back down to that. And that extra selling. So for instance, say over here, the coin is supposed to be 165, but there's so much buying, the coin's going up to 166. No. We're going to sell our entire supply if it ever gets to 166, which means there's not enough buyers to go ahead and break that supply because we have 1 billion. Here's the problem. As this supply dwindles and as the buying demand increases, we don't have that power anymore because at some point the buying demand overwhelms the supply that we have. So we're projecting it in a nice orderly fashion as per the calculations already that week 77 that happens. Well, when that happens, we can no longer control the price. We can't do the 1 cent anymore. See this price of $41.72 overnight, 175 to 41.72. Well, how do we get that number? Very simple. How much is scheduled to be bought versus how much is scheduled to be sold. Buy versus sell. Supply versus demand. Equals 4172. As you can see, it's 4155, 4142. It's actually going down. And that's because the $60 the $60 investment amount, we stopped increasing. We're not projecting it goes any higher than that because again, we're trying to be conservative. And then as it pertains to the amount, the Rhino retirement accounts, they're still going as steady as can be, but because the amount isn't going any higher, and because the sale amount, you gotta remember, the selling is a fixed 5%. Well, one would say, Anthony, why would anyone sell over here when they know it's going to right here? Well, let's go to our notes, right? So week 51, I think sales will I think selling, I should say selling, right? Not sales, because that could confuse people into buying. I think the selling will dramatically decrease from 5% at this point, plus going forward. That's not calculated. It's not calculated into the numbers because when you see that, all right, you're this close to this happening, and again, all the numbers are going to be recorded. So when this moment happens, it's not going to be, oh, all the projections. No, it's going to be, this is actually happening at this date. Why would anyone sell it there? Okay. Well, how about day 65? I think the average plan size will dramatically increase at this point. If you know that the coin is going to move from 164 to $41 in a matter of 10 days, would you not increase your buying? I think you would. So at this point, we believe that not only is the selling activity going to decrease, but we also believe that the buying activity is going to increase. At this point, day 70, I think the open market will take notice and dramatically increase buying at this point. That's not calculated. I want to share something with you. What has never been calculated in any of this is, as you can see, it's simply Rhino retirement accounts. It's a free market. This is publicly listed and traded. This assumes that nobody in the entire world outside of Rhino ever purchases a coin. This assumes that no one ever in the entire globe outside of Rhino tells a friend, purchases a coin, that spread awareness. Because realistically, by this point, the more common thing that will happen is that, and that's what I put on week 80, I keep saying week, day 85. I think at this point, Rhino captures material global awareness. From this point, it takes on a life of its own, and I can't calculate that. What I mean by that is, yeah, these numbers are slowly going down. For what reason? Because we say that no one's ever going to invest, that the weekly investment amount is going to stop. Because we're saying that the selling amount is going to stay at 5%, that we're saying that the buy amount is not going to increase. Well, here's one thing I do know, right? At this point, there's no more coin available. And I believe that anything that is scarce to the point of not being available becomes attractive. The next 7 days scheduled Rhino Bucks buys. You can't buy that much anymore because it doesn't exist. I believe that the behavior of one to say it doesn't exist anymore, I want more. I believe, now when you take a look at this, take a look at the last row, day 90. We have 394 million Rhino retirement accounts. If there's an asset in the world where 394 million people, individual people, all at $60 or less per week are purchasing it, what happens to the price? Now, two things we need to go over. One, Rhino retirement accounts are at market price. So when those orders are coming in, and this is not calculated, when those orders are coming in to buy the coin, it's buying it at any price anyone's willing to sell it. So if you have more buying and less selling, and the orders are for any price someone's willing to sell it, I imagine that price starts getting out of control quite quickly. And because one person is doing it, they're all doing it. Every account's coded the same way, which means all 400 million accounts at this point are all buying it at whatever price it's listed at. Secondly, I want to make a point of, on day 90, we then share with the world. At this point, we make aware our community, if they'd like to continue Rhino retirement, if all of these accounts, these 394 million accounts, want to continue being part of Rhino retirement, and they don't want to be kicked off, I think that's too strong of language, but if, and people have noticed this with my emails, what we're doing is real. I have no interest in doing all the work while we all talk about being partners, and then when I need you, you're nowhere to be found. And that person I have no interest in being a partner with because they have no interest in being a partner with me. So what I mean by that is at this point, there's 394 million people that are all making a ton of money that are in the most exclusive thing that they've ever been a part of. I will tell them, I will kick them out and ban them from Rhino retirement if they don't go ahead and populate Rhino Street. What does that mean? Rhino Street is our search engine. It is the exact 100% antithesis of Google. Google is global, Rhino Street is a 20-mile radius. Google has ads, marketing, and user retention. Rhino Street has none of that. Google allows companies to market to other people in other districts. Rhino does not, right? In doing so, Rhino Street was created with the sole purpose in mind that the sentence that we want to create is, if you want to search global, use Google. If you want to search local, use Rhino. That is the way it's built. And we believe through our testing and through just pure common sense, that when you ask someone, your next purchase, would you prefer it to be from a Wall Street corporation or your next door neighbor or your Main Street businesses, they always select their locality. Meaning, not only do we have an exact antithesis, so it's this or that, vanilla or chocolate, but we also have something that makes sense that is wanted by everyone that is alive today. Everyone wants to empower and live in a community that is not everyone on welfare, right? They want to live on a thriving community of their neighbors where everyone's happy and doing well. This Rhino Street is exactly that because it only offers search results for those that are local to you, and everyone has to opt in. Because everyone has to opt in, we're going to need some help populating it. So these 394 million people, hey, if you have a business, can you opt in and become a listing on Rhino Street? It's free. We're going to send you traffic. Can you list your business? Yes. If you don't have a business, can you suggest a business in your community so that we can email them and invite them? Why not, right? And if you don't have a business, but you want to be a listing because you work for somewhere and you network or whatever the case may be, then list yourself. Like, this is what we need. Now, obviously, at this point, we're going to have fanfare and influence, and we're going to be able to educate people on why Rhino Street's important. But if you follow me on this, if you can just trust me on one thing, it is going to be important, and it is going to be something people want. Well, then these 394 million people will go ahead and move over to Rhino Street. Now, Google is worth $1.5 trillion, fully populated, right? If the alternative is fully populated, what is it worth? So if I want to search global, I go to Google. If I want to search local, I go to Rhino. Okay, well, if this is worth 1.5 trillion, what's this worth? I don't know the answer to that. But I do know that at $41 per coin times a billion, that equals a $41 billion market cap, right? The entire Rhino Bucks universe is worth 41 billion. The fact, by the way, the search engine's coded. We spent 5 years building it. So it's not like, oh, and then one day we're just, no, this has always been the plan. So when day 90 comes around, did we move 400 million people onto a search engine, to our search engine? It does become vanilla or chocolate, right? Day or night, right? What is that worth? I don't know, but let's say it's worth 1/10 of Google, right? Well, if Google's worth 1.5 trillion, then that's worth 150 billion, which means the coin at $41 is still only 1/3 of what Rhino Street's worth. Well, Anthony, Rhino Streets and RHINOretirement are different, aren't they? No, because I'm not taking Rhino Street public myself. I don't want to own it public myself. Anthony, now you sound crazy. You don't want to own a $150 billion thing to yourself? Why would I? Listen, if I'm worth 1 or 2 billion in my life, that's good. There's no reason that I feel like I need to be worth 150, 200, 300 billion if instead I can go ahead and rescue and liberate our population. That's worth more to me. On my gravestone, I don't want it to say, really rich man that thought he could take his money to the grave. I want it to say, the man that saved the world, right? And that sounds, Anthony, like you're being crazy, but you know what? That's my dream. And if I want to pursue saving the world by giving away everything to people, let me, right? Like I'm allowed to do that. So Rhino Street is then going to back the coin, which means the coin, when someone says, hey, what's that worth? What's it backed by? Well, I don't know. We have $80 million in the bank and we have an asset that's worth 150 billion. So the coin at $40 is wildly undervalued. So maybe you should start buying it. And then all of a sudden everyone buys it because they have market orders and blah, 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 blah. So let me take off the share because I do want to see your face for a moment. The point of all of this, and I think someone asked me the question, really, when does it get over $100? I don't know. I think it could get over $100 by the end of the year. I've said to everyone that I believe it gets over $100 by this time next year, but I've also privately said I think we eclipse Bitcoin in 2024. And it's not because, oh, I just am like this crazy person. It's very simple the way markets work. They go up when you buy, they go down when you sell, and they stop going up when everyone bought because there's no one left to buy. The way Rhino's built is that we're not asking anyone for thousands of dollars. We're asking everyone to participate in a grassroots, strong foundation of $60 or less per week. And then we grow that base to thousands, 10,000s, millions. And that that whole base is buying every single week at market price. And you might say, well, Anthony, market price is a little unfair. I don't want to buy it too high. That doesn't exist because everyone's buying it at market price. So everyone just buys it higher. Well, Anthony, how does this end? It's going to end badly. How? Numbers are infinite. They could go up forever. And people's buying is infinite to the amount of years left in the world. Because yeah, 90-year-olds might pass on to a better place, but someone younger is also in Rhino. Of those 100 million, 200 million, Do you think they're all going to, be at the age where they're going to all pass away collectively the next day? No, so it's staggered, and the buying behavior always continues. So after the first generation passes, oh man, they all bought it at market. They all passed away, and what do we do? No, the next generation's been buying with them. Meaning, as long as the earth still spins and as long as numbers still go up, that's the way this is built. And to go ahead and add a little bit of what it means, we're talking about the 99% of the population that is not the 1%. For the first time being able to find value in their population, that if they collectively do something together, this is the way that they go ahead and recoup the money that's been taken from them. Because no one's going to tell me that the top 1% deserves 99% of the wealth of the world. And if you say, Anthony, it's only 90%, you're proving my point for me. People matter. Population matters. Walmart would go bankrupt if they didn't have a customer. Politicians would not be elected if they didn't have a vote. Population matters. Facebook and Google make all of their money by making you believe you're a customer. That's a free product, but they sell you and your data to everybody else. You want to take it back? You want everything to be the way it should be? You want to revalue yourself? You want to go ahead and create and be the reason for the greatest renaissance ever in middle class in this entire world? Here's your opportunity. So let me put this. And again, I said 20 minutes. It was 51 minutes. I'm sorry. Probably a question for hopefully near future. How can I begin businesses in France and Europe on Rhino Research? Well, Rhino Street, and translate the info. Oh, translate. So two things. Misha, you would never have to translate it because the only people that would see your business is your locality. What it means for us is we have to translate those forms and stuff for you and for your locality. We are actively working with Salesforce, and we have brought that up, that we will need to start producing emails in different languages. I brought that up with my team, that once we really get out there before the launch of Rhino Street, we're going to have different forms in different languages. I believe the solution would probably be something like a widget, where it's like, you put it on the site and anyone that goes on it, would you like to translate this to whatever language? So we are actively looking at that, and that is something that we are concerned and aware of, because Rhino Street is global. And I don't mean to say global as in like everyone could just say the word global. When you're on Rhino Street, it goes ahead and identifies your location and asks you permission for it. It then calculates your actual latitude and longitude. It then calculates the 20-mile radius of latitude and longitudes behind you and pulls those search results as the only search results you can get. That took a lot of work, because I don't know if you know how many zip codes there are in this world, but 247,000. Just saying. All right. Please, 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 I'm giving you the link to actually watch a 5-minute explainer video and then press join. At this point, I think you guys, I think I just spent 53 minutes explaining it, but please watch it. Like, it's yours to watch. If you're not in, I need you in. We all need you in. And again, what's the reason? You just saw all the numbers. It's not, oh, Anthony wants a whole bunch of money going to him. No, we just need a larger and larger base, because the larger the base, the higher the space. I know that rhymes, but I've been wanting to say it. I'm going. Yes, so Brian, and I know everyone's been asking this. We are working on an affiliate program. We have to. Two things. One, we don't really have to, because once it gets to a certain point, it's just going to take off. But that doesn't mean I don't want to incentivize and reward those that work on the behalf of Rhino. But it's also working on yourself, because you all own coin, right? So I want to make one. I've kind of been dragging my feet on it, because I'm just like, do we really need to? I think I would much prefer everyone just saying, I'll recommend everyone I can. I'm going to send out an email for you, and me pay for it, right? I'll give you 5,000 coin to send out an email to 1,000 people, right? And if we can do that, I would much prefer that. And I only want to do it for the first month because once it goes, it goes. But actually, you know what? Let's have that conversation. Tomorrow is our live. Again, I'm doing it tomorrow. I'll go ahead and structure that. And obviously, we uploaded all the lives and they're on the YouTube. But that one I'll actually even email out. And I'll include that in the Saturday email. Because if we can structure a way that everyone would accept payments in coin to go ahead and market on behalf, so it's self-fulfilling, right? The better you do, the more success your coin has. Hence, by doing so, the coin you get paid in goes up with your coin, right? Like it makes sense. Let me structure it. Let me present it tomorrow, and I'll get it in the Saturday email. I think that's a really good idea. Actually, I absolutely love the idea. All right, let me go. I love you. I do. If you're not in,